The first round of knockout phase playoff action in the Champions League has come to an end, and it certainly lived up to the hype. We got to witness 16 of Europe's best clubs fight it out for a spot in the round of 16, and some sides lived up to the expectations while others certainly did not. Today we're looking back at the 8 matches from the first leg of knockout phase playoff action to see which sides are in a prime position to advance and which teams have their work cut out for them. The Champions League is shining on the biggest stage once again, and the lights are about to get brighter. The first match of the day saw the all-French encounter between Brest and PSG. The first half of this game was entirely controlled by the Parisian visitors, and it wasn't long before they found their first goal. After 21 minutes of knocking on the door, it would be Vitinha's cool, calm and collected strike into the bottom left corner that would give PSG a commanding 1-0 lead. The visitors went on to score the second goal in this match after a clinical run and finish from Dembele gave PSG a deserving 2-0 lead going into the break. PSG's third goal almost came just 5 minutes after the restart, but VAR would disallow Doué's tap-in goal for offside in the build-up play. That missed chance wouldn't stop Dembele from grabbing his brace just 6 minutes later, and with that final goal on the board, PSG came away with a dominant 3-0 win over Brest. Moving over to Italy for the next game of the day, Juventus and PSV went head-to-head in a thrilling matchday 1 replay. The first 34 minutes were a back-and-forth battle between the two sides, but an absolutely beautiful strike from Juventus would see them take the lead. Weston McKennie's effort would smash into the back of the net after some bouncing around in the box, giving Juventus an important 1-0 lead that would last until halftime. The Dutch visitors would be the first to strike in the new frame, with Perisic grabbing his goal after a VAR check that ruled out a handball in the 56th minute. It seemed like this match would end in a draw, but with Bangula's rebound effort in the 82nd minute, Juventus found their second and final goal of the night. Despite some last-second efforts from PSV, Juventus hung on to their lead as they came away with a critical 2-1 victory. The next match of the day took place at the Etihad Stadium as Manchester City and Real Madrid faced off in an instant classic. The atmosphere in the crowd was truly electric, and it got even louder in the 19th minute when Erling Haaland scored his first ever goal against Madrid after some beautiful build-up play. The Spanish visitors were knocking on the door for the next 25 minutes, but City held on and went into halftime with a 1-0 lead. Real Madrid came out of the break looking like a rejuvenated side, and after Mbappe's rather fluky goal in the 60th minute, the match was now tied at 1-1. It would be Haaland's penalty goal in the 80th minute that would give City a 2-1 lead, and with 10 minutes to go, they were comfortably in the driver's seat. But in classic Real Madrid fashion, it would be Diaz and Bellingham in the 86th and 90th minute that would see Madrid score 2 unthinkable goals, giving them a critical 3-2 victory. And finally, the last match of the day saw Sporting CP go up against Borussia Dortmund in a thrilling encounter. The first half saw the Portuguese side firmly in control with a few solid chances on attack, but they all led to nothing as the match went into halftime stuck at 0-0. It would be the German visitors who started the second half on top, and with 2 quick goals from Guirassy and Gross in the 60th and 68th minute, Dortmund were now ahead by 2-0. Karim Adeyemi would be Dortmund's third goal scorer of the night as the German side held on and won this match by a truly convincing 3-0 scoreline. The first game of the second day of knockout phase playoff action saw Club Brugge and Atalanta go head-to-head in a feisty encounter. It would take the home side just 15 minutes to find the opener after a beautiful half volley from Jutgla gave Brugge an early 1-0 lead. The Italian side responded very well and kept generating chances, and in the 42nd minute, Mario Pasilic's header in the box would bring the game level at 1-1 right before halftime. The second half saw some decent chances go both ways, and the match was seemingly headed to a draw. That would not be the case, as just a few seconds into stoppage time, Brugge would be awarded an extremely controversial penalty after a rather soft challenge on Nielsen. The Swedish striker had no problem converting his penalty, and against all expectations, Brugge came away with a 2-1 win over Atalanta. Moving over to Glasgow for the next match of the day, Celtic and Bayern faced off in a thrilling encounter. The home side nearly got off to a dream start, but Koon's goal just 30 seconds in would be called off due to an offside decision. Bayern would open their scoring account right on the stroke of halftime as Olise's devastating strike into the top right corner would give the German side a 1-0 lead going into the break. The German visitors got off to a quick start in the second half, with Harry Kane scoring from a beautiful set-piece play to give Bayern a 2-0 lead in the 49th minute. Celtic weren't out of this match just yet, and in the 79th minute, Daisen Maeda's header from a scrappy set-piece brought the game to a 2-1 scoreline. Celtic weren't able to complete the comeback as this exciting first-leg matchup ended in a 2-1 win for Bayern. The next game of the day took place in the Netherlands as Feyenoord and AC Milan faced off in a tense match. It took almost no time for the home side to score their opening goal as Paixão's strike from the left corner of the box would find the net just 3 minutes into the match. Feyenoord came close to adding a second after hitting the bar, but the scoreline held firm at 1-0 as both sides headed into the break. The second half would see Milan put up 9 total shots, but none of their efforts troubled the Dutch side as Feyenoord came away with a crucial 1-0 victory. The final match of the day would see Monaco and Benfica square off in a highly anticipated matchday 5 replay. The first 45 minutes of this match didn't produce any noteworthy moments as the match went into halftime stuck in a 0-0 deadlock. Benfica wasted no time opening the scoring in the new frame, with Pavlidis scoring a beautiful chip shot in the 48th minute to give the Portuguese visitors a 1-0 lead. Monaco's night went from bad to worse in the 52nd minute as Al Musrati's dissent against the ref would lead to a red card, bringing the home side to 10 men. Benfica dominated the rest of the match with over 70% possession as this encounter finished with a 1-0 victory going the way of the Portuguese side. After 8 incredible matches in the knockout phase playoffs, let's see how each tie is looking ahead of the second leg. Brest are headed to Paris in a giant hole after conceding 3 goals goals, and it looks like PSG have one foot in the round of 16 after the first leg. Juventus are going to feel confident going into the next leg of their tie, but if we know anything, it's that PSV can come up with a massive upset when they're playing at their best. It's almost impossible to predict how this Manchester City and Real Madrid tie will go, but it feels like the Spanish side have all of the momentum, and that could be enough to get them into the round of 16. And for Borussia Dortmund, they get to go home to the Signal Iduna Park with a 3-0 advantage, which seems like an impossible mountain for Sporting to climb at this point. Club Brugge and Atalanta set up a thrilling second leg encounter after their match today, and the Italians will be extra motivated after their controversial loss. Celtic will feel pleased with their performance in today's match, but they will have to give 110% if they want to complete the comeback in Munich next week. Feyenoord will feel like they could have come away with more against the relatively poor AC Milan side, but they still have a lot to do if they want to advance to the round of 16. And finally, Monaco and Benfica's story doesn't feel over just yet, as the second leg will require both sides to play at their absolute best. With 8 more matches to go in the knockout phase playoffs, it's truly an all-or-nothing situation for the 16 teams left in this stage of the competition. But what did you think of the first leg in the knockout phase playoffs in the Champions League? What are some of your craziest predictions for the second leg, and who do you think is moving on to the round of 16? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more football content, tier lists, and everything in between, and as always, I'll catch you next time.